welcome to the Golf Locker Room Podcast. Welcome to the Golf Locker Room Podcast. Um, what up, people? What up, Miss Clark's Golf Life?
What up, what up, what up? How y'all fellas doing?
We doing all right. I think we're doing just fine. What's up, Big Siff?
Man, just maxing and relaxing, chilling.
That's right.
You know how we do in the Carolinas, man. And the wild part, it's hard to get used to the Wells Fargo not being here this week.
Oh yeah.
And so that's kind of a huge thing for us here in the Charlotte area. And but I understand getting ready for what is the President's Cup. So that's a good trade-off.
Most definitely.
Good trade.
Nice. Where did they move it to?
I think it's in DC. Is it DC, Baltimore? The DMV area? Yeah, I think it's up there, man. I think they had it somewhere one time before, due to I forget what was going on, but yeah, it's a huge draw for Charlotte and the surrounding areas. It brings a lot of money here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a party,
No, that makes sense. It's money.
Oh yeah,
it is money.
Definitely money.
Big money. It brings a lot of money to the area for sure. Is that going on? That's going on this week?
Is it
this? Okay. Yeah, I'm a little lost out here. Usually I'll be up on my golf stuff. No, let me tell you, just busy.
Guys from Livingstone, man, they made it to New York. They're playing their practice round today, and they start the tournament tomorrow. So we wishing them the best of luck.
Nice. Yeah, let's get them up. We'll definitely have them on and hear about their story. That's amazing. Trish, I have do we have anything for oh yeah. Miss Kendall, she's did a good gig I don't have it up. Do you remember what's going on with her?
So Howard with the PGA Works, the boys came in first place, I think second year in a row or something.
Oh wow, let's get that up.
Yeah.
Shout out to the kids, shout out to the coach.
Yeah, and Greg and EJ, they came in first and second place, so that's big ups. And then the girls came in fifth, so they were fighting hard. Kendall said it was real tough, but they're doing great things and we're loving it.
Nice. Yeah, those what freshmen, not even red shirts. She's a straight freshman, so her feet are both in the water right now. Her feet are both in the water, getting right in the heat of battle, straight in. No year to prepare, just straight in. So let's give another heads up to the Howard University golf team, men's and women's, and definitely our family, the coach out there putting in that work, making the re-emerge program very dope and getting ready to get great wins in another round. Yeah.
We had that conversation. Think about it. We had that conversation last year about Coach per year taking his kids to that major stage, and everybody was saying, I don't know why he did that, and it didn't do
exactly.
Now, as a coach, he has the green light to knowing where he wants to be and where he is now. So I guess all the critics were wrong.
But exactly, because I remember, we were lucky enough to have them on early, and he laid out his vision and his confidence for his young men and young women on their golf journey. Just the program was just getting started again. He's got a bunch of freshmen, and just really trying to get the program off the ground. Fresh from COVID, so it was a lot of restrictions even before to really jump in with 2 feet. And we're at the end of their season, and it was a nice big success. So and I'm sure it wasn't easy. I'm sure next year will even be better. And it just goes to show you. We just support 100%, win, lose, or draw. But even then, give a little faith to the professionals that do this day in and day out. That's why we have them on the show. You know what I mean? It's no guessing. These people's feet and hands are mixing and matching and working. And we opine and we have opinions, but most of the time it's not steeped in fact. It's steeped in opinion and what tidbits of information we get to form our opinions, which is great because I think everyone should have a voice and everyone should have an opinion, but also give the benefit of the doubt to the professional. That's what they do. They've dedicated their lives to doing this, and we got to give the benefit to the professional. So once again, shout out, Coach. You know you family. Shout out to the boys and girls and the young men and young women scholar athletes over at Howard. Beautiful. Love what the boys is doing at Livingstone and all the other HBCUs we've had on and the ones we're getting. Real quick, Sif, let's talk about, and I don't know if we even know, but we'll get some more information. What's up with the program? The Wilberforce is coming up to help them out, and they're just getting restarted. What are D2, D3?
I would think that they're D2.
Yeah, definitely,
I think they're
definitely.
D2. Yeah.
Okay, okay, and you know, they got a great event going on for the Black Golf Alliance out in Ohio. You guys, if you're hearing this, make sure if you can't go, donate some money for these young kids. It's a blessing. They did a Juneteenth last year, and they blessed TCU, Texas Southern, their program. They're doing another one this year in Ohio, in conjunction with the memorial, in conjunction with those great organizers out there, and they're going to bless the Wilberforce University golf team with you guys' donations. I know I was pumped when I first heard it to go out there. I'm not going to be able to make it this year because I have a event that is dear to my heart that's in the same month, but definitely I'll be sending a hunk of some of my money to the Black Golf Alliance in conjunction with their works, helping that HBCU golf program, because that's what it's about. We always talk about the juniors, the HBCUs, the junior. Yeah, well, let's put our feet to the ground. Let's send some money. If you can't participate, send some money. If you can't participate, and that helps because some of that money goes. So that's what we're gonna do. You know, it's a 2 or 3 minority Black golf groups on Facebook and IG that we try to come together and loosely organize as much as possible to help different things. Well, this is one. So yeah, we'll keep reminding y'all. I don't know when the deadline is for them. Sif, do you know the deadline?
I think it's May 15th.
May 15th. All right. We're almost 10 days away. Good. A good 2 work week days away. So I'm glad we brought that up because we got about 10 more days for the deadline for you guys to go and enjoy and participate in that great event, the Black Golf Alliance Memorial Tournament charitable event. Let's get that up. Trish, give us some APGA news if you got it.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely want to shout out, the APGA tour. So they partnered with Cisco, which is a big up,
Very
right?
nice. Yeah, good sponsorships.
Yeah, and so in that partnership, 4 APJ professionals and 1 collegiate standout, Kevin Hall, Aaron Beverly, Elijah Wan, and I'm gonna chop up his last name, Janiko, and Michigan State University, Troy Taylor will be joining Cisco's team as a brand ambassador. So that's real big, right?
Okay, nice. That's real big. Yeah, I mean, those young gentlemen would not probably have gotten. No, let's not say would. Those young gentlemen wouldn't be able to get those opportunities without the great work of the APGA.
It's the exposure. It's all about the exposure. Get them exposed.
It's exposure. It's
experience.
All that, and those are just great networking and great work that they're doing. Still,
Hey, so what's the difference? Let me ask you a question, so that I don't have to do my research. And I know you guys are research junkies. So, what's the difference between the APGA and the Corn Ferry? Or are they mirroring tours? Or, I mean,
Not really. Corn Ferry, which was the web.com tour, which was something else before that, is basically a certified minor league for the PGA Tour.
okay,
And it's a step to get your card. You know what I mean? And there's a certain amount of allotted spots, 25 if I'm correct, spots that the top 25 get. Well, I think it goes the top 10 gets a unrestricted card, or the top 5 get an unrestricted card, and then 15 or 20 get conditional status on the PGA Tour immediately.
right.
Just in your rankings. You go through the Corn Ferry Tour season, you're in the top 5, you're on tour. And, you know, we look at most of our folks and most of the players, with the exceptions of a few that's on tour now, the younger ones, they've all did at least a year going through the Corn Ferry Tour, which was a web.com tour, just a sponsorship thing. But basically, it's the PGA Farm League.
Gotcha.
The APGA is a mini tour where they have been fighting for years and years and years to somehow get those golfers that are not on the Corn Ferry Tour, still keep them in the loop, so at one point they can get to the Corn Ferry Tour, and or they would get an exemption, and say they win that tournament, they would get some conditional status on PGA, or they can go and join the Corn Ferry Tour, and then if they do good on the Corn Ferry Tour, they would get some status on the PGA Tour. And so that's the difference. The Corn Ferry Tour actually semi mirrors the PGA, where the APGA is a mini tour to get you a step up to the Corn Ferry Tour and exposure.
Gotcha.
But that's not official word. That's what I think, as I believe it to be. They need to come on, and they'll explain it more, you know, whenever they come on. Because, like you said, you didn't know everything. I still don't know everything. But they can explain it better than we can ever do it. But that's my understanding of what it is. Trish. We can't hear
sorry.
you.
Yeah. So for the APGA Tour, they were established back in 2010. So they're a nonprofit organization. You know, that's the basis of it. So their mission is to prepare African Americans and other minority golfers to compete and win at the highest level of professional golf, both on the tour and in the golf industry. So they do that through doing the different, you know, professional tournaments, through career development. They do mentoring sessions. So it's almost like developmental as well, you know. And again, it allows for opportunities, the experience, the again, getting them out there, you know, to be seen. So, you know, it's opening up some opportunities. So, but it's a nonprofit organization to start off. And like I said, they've been established since 2010.
Appreciate it.
Nice. Yeah. But they'll tell a story. Yeah, 2010 out in LA. They used to do I used to always say that they did it at their championship at Chester, Washington, and went to a few other states early on. Now they got a real tour. It's a real mini tour. They've developed themselves a real mini tour with a legit schedule, playing legit courses, and a great partnership with the PGA, because they probably wouldn't be on those TPC courses without the partnership with the PGA and State Farm. And now we got Cisco. So it's only great for, I mean, you know, it's probably unprecedented, and I'm not sure, for a mini tour of that mission to ever have that kind of endorsement and help by the bigger tours and the bigger companies, which would always trickle down to the participants in that in the APGA. So they get great exposure and great resources to continue their golf careers, where it be players or maybe even matriculating into other areas of the golf industry. Anything else?
Cam Champ, top 10.
Again, come on. Once again, let's go. Let's go. I know we were talking about, somebody had said something on one of the forums, and we was going back and forth, and then the next day he was second in Mexico.
Yeah.
Grinding. So, like I tell people all the time, dude, he's won every year he's been on the PGA Tour. Only 2 other people have done that in his class, John Rahm and Morikawa. That's it. Right. That's it. And it's a crazy feat so far. I don't want to jinx him. I want him to get his 4th victory this year, because this would be his 4th victory in his 4th year. And I know that's coming this year. And, Harold's great, and he's been a journeyman, and he's going to get a victory. And Cam's a little younger, and he's on tour, but he's won every year since he's been on tour. So let's get that up. I think Trish is frozen. Trish. Yeah, she's frozen. Yeah, you're frozen. Get off that cricket. Yeah, she's frozen. But let's bring her back and see. Oh yeah. She ain't even got a picture no more. Get it together, Trish.
You'll come back.
Yeah, you'll come back. Log out, log back in. So yeah, we got one of your good guys. This is our first installment of what we're loosely calling a swing series, to really dive deep into the golf swing and bring on professionals again that can Trish, log out and log back in, huh? Thank you. Bring in professionals that's gonna kind of break down the swing and give tips, because a lot of our a lot of our golf people are beginning and wanting to know as much as possible about golf, whether it be social, economical, what our schools are doing, what our charities are doing. But guess what? They want to know about the swing also. Right. It's very important for them to know about the swing. There you go. They know about the swing, and I thought we wasn't doing that. I don't think we ever had a piece or introduced a piece where we can probably talk about the swing with some great golf professionals. And then, we have so many great teachers and philosophers of the golf ball and playing golf. It's great to expose the world to their philosophies and how they do things also. We would do an injustice if we didn't get to introduce some of the people in our golf circles, to the world. But talk to us before we bring him in, Sif, about our first professional that we're going to introduce into this swing talk. Maybe we'll call it swing talk.
Swing talk.
I don't know. We'll come up with some kind of something.
Nah, man, you have a guy like Scott DeLoatch, is a tenured teaching pro, and more importantly, he's a better person than a teaching pro, and I don't say that to slight one or the other. Scott, there's 3 people that I'll back down from in a discussion or in a golf chat, and one being Scott, one being Uncle E, and one being Rick Pruitt. it's a respect thing because they give respect, and so I respect them, and I know they're professionals at their craft. So I won't even, if they say something, I won't even argue. I won't even debate it. I'll just take it as the gospel. But Scott's a guy that understands the golf swing. He can look at you. He's not going to try to dissect. Well, not dissect, but he's not going to try to tear your swing down and recreate one. He'll just look at some things. I've seen him videos of people that I've worked with, and he'll give a tidbit, but he never destroys the confidence. He never destroys the swing. He said maybe they want to open the left foot or take the right foot back or this, that, and the third, and he's always right, and he's always got a good word. He'll text you out of the blue, "Hey brother, just thinking about you. Hope everything's going well." And see, that's when you can tell a person is authentic. He doesn't have to do any of that, but he does.
Yeah.
But Scott DeLoatch, man, to me, is a great friend. He's a true pioneer of the game. And during the time that he matriculated into the game of golf, there were no black teaching pros. So he's got a wealth of experience, but he's also faced opposition climbing that mountain and to the top as being a teaching professional. He's been a club champion, shot 63, 64. They won't even acknowledge it. But he's a man of God, so he doesn't even press about it. But that's just in a capsule. That's who Scott DeLoatch is, man. I'm just glad to know him.
All right, well, let's just bring him on out and start the conversation. All right, Big Scott DeLoatch is in the house. Let's give him some applause and give him some air horns. When we started this new segment piece to enhance our podcast for our audience and people that just stumble upon it and start listening, Sif was like, I got a guy to be our first guy in this swing talk podcast we're doing, or the series we're doing. And he was like, we're going to try to get Scott to come on. He's has a wealth of knowledge. We all recognize you and know you from the Facebook groups. And it's good to have you on live because you write so eloquently and give us good philosophies on life and golf in the Facebook groups. It's good to now actually have you live and in living color. What up, Scott DeLoatch? Give us a good word, brother.
Well, first and foremost, I just thank you, and I'm honored to be considered even worthy of coming on and sharing my few words. But before I get into anything, I felt a little slighted because right before you guys started this podcast, I called Sif and I said, Sif, let's do a podcast. And I had a vision of doing exactly what you're doing right now. He said, "You too late." He said, "Brother man," he called me, and it's already in the works. So I was kind of proud that you guys took up the mantle, and you guys are doing some great work. And this is a well-needed forum for our Black golf community. And like I said, I had the opportunity to talk with Sif a little earlier, and I'm just glad to meet you and Tricia, and I'm looking forward to you guys doing even greater things going forward.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Again, yeah, because Sif is right, and you guys have a good personal relationship. But when I see a post from Scott and he breaks down some philosophies on just human nature or golf or how we should act or how we should look at a certain situation, I read and take it like he's talking to me too. And it's just a pleasure to have that kind of knowledge and even keel when everyone's hot under the collar about certain topics and we go in there and everybody has an opinion. We can always count on Scott to bring the temperature down a little bit, insert some knowledge and how the other person may feel. And that's just a great, well-rounded person and thing for the forum to have. You got to have some somebody with some sense, because everybody's going to go on emotion and I got to be right and ego. And he's going to bring down the temperature and bring some civility in. And I think that's just huge. And then on top of that, he's got that swing craft going. He can tell you how to golf your ball, you know. And I'm glad you brought that up, Seth, about, you know, he's been club champion and shot 63, 64. So he's a teacher, but he was a doer and still is a doer. And that's just fantastic. I'm going to stop talking so much, and we're going to start with some questions. Let's start with Scott. Give us just a brief history and let the world know how you got into golf, your philosophy about golf, how golf has changed your life. Give us a brief bio in your own words.
Well, as a child, I lived about a mile away from country club, and I went up there one time to caddy with the rest of the kids, and I didn't look like all the rest of the kids, so I was told to get my such and such behind off the course and never come back. So I never really touched the golf club again until I was about 27 years old. And then I learned out of peer pressure at work. Everybody was leaving on Fridays to go play golf. I had to stick around and answer the telephones. And then one time, one of my coworkers asked me if I played, and I said, absolutely, I played. I was an athlete, and I could do just about anything with a ball and a bat or whatever. And he invited me to join them in a few weeks. And so I had 2 weeks to kind of learn how to play golf. I went to a garage sale and I bought some clubs with duct tape on them and everything for $5. And I went to the local driving range and I kind of mocked the guys that I thought that were doing well. If they hit it straight, I watched what they were doing. If they hit it crooked, I watched what they were doing. And I went out and I played my first round of golf. I shot 113. And the people that were claiming they were golfers that I worked with, they shot 115 or 117. So I beat them the first time out, and I thought I knew what golf was about. I never had any formal instruction. I don't prescribe that for anybody now, but I'm self-taught, and I spent a lot of years fixing a lot of problems that could have been fixed with a little help. Long story short, I developed a pretty good golf game, and as Sif said, I won a couple of club championships, and I tried. You mentioned in your intro, what's the now the Corn Ferry Tour. It used to be the Nike Tour and the Buy.com Tour.
Exactly.
I played a couple events on that, and I won just about enough money to buy a good lunch. And, just didn't have the kind of support I thought I needed back then. But I was always a good player and always a good teacher. I learned how to make clubs and repair my own clubs. That saved a lot of money and gave me a greater understanding of what the clubs do. And fast forward, now the assistant golf pro at Westover Golf Club. Been there for about 17 years. Teach about 100 people a year. I have a simple philosophy, simple instruction, great results. Only thing I teach are the fundamentals: grip, stance, posture, swing plane, alignment, course management. And I tried to break it down very simply that people can understand it and not only get better, but have fun playing golf. So that's about me in a nutshell.
Nice. And that's what we want to do, because we want people to be able to tune in and chime in and get some tidbits, especially if they're just starting out. We all have that beginning story of just starting out in golf and how it got us. And, you know, and probably for most of us, like you said, we suggest that if you have an inkling, I think it's enough of us now, hopefully, that when we bring somebody in, we can give them better understanding about getting some instruction first. How I'm sure all of us on this podcast that's been playing anytime just start playing, and somebody took us by the wing and showed us a a grip or showed us a swing and showed us, but that's why we want to bring golf to as many people as possible, and then we can bring them into the fold of get some instruction, get some, get some, get at least, like you said, get your grip, posture, and stance at least to start off. So then those bad habits are gone, and now you can just totally tear up your own swing if you want to, but at least you're starting off with good habits. Trish.
Hey, Scott. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for the kind words in the beginning. I wanted to ask, so they call you the golfing evangelist. So how did you come about getting that name?
Well, I kind of called myself that. Nobody gave me that title. I'm actually an ordained minister, and a lot of people don't know, but when we start talking about the times of the Nike tour and the Buy.com tour, I was actually called by the Lord into the ministry. I quit playing for 2 years. I didn't touch a golf club. I started studying, went to seminary, and I left the game alone, at what I considered at the peak of my career. And I just felt led to do that. And I came back. And uh, so now, as a golf instructor, I do something called Fellowship on the Fairway, and I give golf clinics and lessons, and you'd be surprised how many men and women uh, will not go to a church, but they'll come hit some golf balls and see how I can kind of equate that to some of the scriptures in the Bible, and they feel comfortable sharing there. They feel safe, and it's just a way that people can come. The golf courses are filled on Sunday mornings with a lot of people that have questions about life. They don't know where to turn. They need somebody to listen to them without preaching to them all the time. And that's what I kind of do. So on my bio, I put that as a heading, the golfing evangelist, so that it
I
brings up
love that.
conversation like this, and that we can have these kind of conversations.
Very nice. Let's
Love
give
it.
that up.
Love it.
Definitely. Got to meet people where they are. Good
Right.
stuff. That's one of our guys in the chat, and he speaks to the truth, because we are, all of us, once we get out there on the course or once we get on the driving range, we are naked. Some of our walls do have to come down if you're going to learn. If you don't learn, you're going to have to take some of that shielding and some of those walls we put up down, and let some knowledge in, and let some advice in, and put your feelings to the side. And if you can throw in some scripture and some knowledge, that is a great place, because people are already open. It's a humbling game, and so
Yes.
you got to come humble anyway. If you want to do anything in this game, you definitely got to
Yeah,
be humble.
I like
Sif.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
And before I delve into a golf question specifically, I still have to harp on the good heartedness of
Mm.
Scott. Scott will, he's compelled to reach out to me. I know he reaches out to other people. Matter of fact, Scott is the one who gives me my movie recommendations.
Yeah.
He'll watch me and say, "Hey man, you better watch this right here. Did you see this?" But 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 Al Wood is an ordained pastor as well, and Scott and Al Wood are similar. I play probably 100 rounds a year with Al. He's never preached to me one time. He always shows me the example, and it may have happened a month ago, and then he'll say, "You remember such and such," and he'll
Mm,
tie it to scripture, and then I'll say, "Oh, I didn't think about it like that, or I didn't see it like
mm.
that." So he never beats me across the head with the Bible. Scott has never beat me across the head with the Bible. And so that's why I'm always reluctant to take his information and to back down. You guys know sometimes I can come downhill in a D2 dozer with no brakes. And, if it ain't for my mama or, somebody like Scott DeLoatch or Uncle E, then I'm going to roast you. But if Scott tells me, "Hey, Chris, I back down," because that's a level of respect that he's earned, and I know
Hmm.
he's intentional about being the person he is to me. So I really, really appreciate that. But question for me, number one. Let's say we're talking about the neophyte golfer who just matriculated into the game. I think Manny had said it best. A lot of us have come up under old school premises where we've got caddy swings because we just had to learn it the best way we can. Now, with technology, teaching pros like Scott, you've got a neophyte matriculating into the game. Why is posture, grip, and stance important? Make those things tie together why they're important.
Well, your body moves a certain way, and it's only going to move. Uh, I want to put it in the right way. Your arm twists a certain way. If you don't hold the club the right way, your body wants to recover so that you don't hurt yourself. And if you don't have your hand on the grip properly, you're never going to be able to get that club to rotate properly through the shot. Byron Nelson said, I've never seen a good golfer with a bad grip, and I've never seen a bad golfer with a good grip. So if you don't have enough control over your golf club with your hands, you're never going to be able to hit the ball solidly. People are, we have 50 million people, they can hit the golf ball, but they don't know where it's going. And the problem is they don't know where it's going because they don't know how to control where it's going. So if I was going to place somebody's hands on the club, I do it a very easy way. I tell them to just shake hands with the club. You've heard that a millions of times, but that's the way your hand wanted to move naturally. And that, if you put that on the club in a nice neutral fashion, you will be able to see if you're a person that has a natural draw swing or a natural fade swing, or a person hits it straight. Then you can make an adjustment as you go on how to improve upon that. But many people don't understand the importance of just getting their hands on the club in a comfortable fashion that will allow their body to move freely.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. That grip. So that's interesting that you said that, because I was told just recently, and I had no idea, because self-taught, like you say, I kind of went out there and, mimicked and watched better players play. I feel like if you put a little money along with it, it makes it even better and more incentive to learn better from these folks. But I learned about a strong grip so there's a strong grip and a weak grip, a weak and a strong. Yeah, and
Or
so I
neutral.
had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea about it, and then so I think I had too weak of a grip, and they said, kind of just adjust it just a little bit, and so now I have a stronger grip or whatever, and it's causing some problems.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
didn't know that there was such a thing. I didn't know there was such a thing.
When I began playing, I just hit the ball straight. That's what I thought my goal was, and I was real good. I could hit it real straight, real far. And then one of my friends said, "Why don't you try hitting a draw? You'll hit it further." And being ignorant, I tried doing that, and I spent a lot of years trying to erase that duck hook out of the swing because And so you get back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, and my natural grip was a nice neutral grip, and I just hit the ball straight. And without trying to mess with it, I was a whole lot better than I was before I knew about the other grips. Trying to grip a little weak, a little strong. I just hit it straight, and there was no harm in just hitting it straight.
Definitely, definitely. And that's what we're going to always be talking about. Just basic stuff, just grip, posture, you know, why we do these things and how it affects your play, and most definitely the ball in play. Sif.
Mm. Go ahead. Go ahead, Trish.
Just
Oh, Tricia
before
had
we
a
jump off
question?
that topic. Yeah, just before we jump off that topic. So would you say, so if I had I have a natural fade. Would you tell a person that has a fade, and it's a good fade, it goes long, you know where it goes, you know where it's going to go each and every time. Would you try to straighten up that swing, or would you have the person play to that fade?
Do you know how many millions of dollars have been made with people playing a fade?
Hmm.
Okay.
So you can talk to a fade, but a hook won't listen.
You got that
If,
right.
if that's your natural swing, that's where you're going to have the most confidence over it. And if you get into a situation where the pressure's on, you don't want to be trying to figure out how much am I going to draw this or hook this. You know, you want to be able to play the shot that you can stand over and confidently swing at. And so I wouldn't try to tell you to change it. Matter of fact, the 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 draw might not be the shot. The fade might be the shot into that hole.
Right.
Okay.
That's true. And one of our guests had a great comment. If you struggle, meaning almost never hit a draw, even with instruction, should you just work on perfecting a good solid fade? That was a question from the audience, and you just already answered it.
That's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know Ben Hogan, man, he talked about that. You know, his wins went up when he learned how to hit the fade because he couldn't hit anything in the greens with the hook because it wouldn't hold. And so I'm just learning that because I hit a fade now. I've gotten totally away from the hook. I hit a fade, just let it lay soft. But the thing is getting all of the club on the ball when hitting the fade. So Scott, let me ask you a question. Let's talk about, if you don't mind, the big muscles. You know, opposed to when Uncle Charlie and those guys were coming back in the day. They were more hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were more. Big Charlie, he was slinging. He played a hook because they were more hands. And I don't know if that was something that self-taught. Now those guys are using the bigger muscles and playing the fade. Could you explain what the bigger muscles do opposed to working it with hands and forearms?
Well, you're getting a little bit out of my realm, but back in the day, the equipment wasn't as precise and as accurate as it is today. So I'm a very handsy player. I was told that when I began, like, you have great hands. That's something you can't teach everybody. And I'm trying to teach people to use hands now. But you had to learn how to manipulate that shaft and that club head. Now these kids are playing. They have shafts that have very little play in them, very little torque in them, and they're just strong. Everybody's hitting it 330, 340, 350 now, and 250, 275, 300 was a big drive back then. And if you look at pictures of Jack Nicklaus, and not to compare myself with his swing, but we brought our left leg up, and we have more torque with our using our body, our hips, trying to get the swing through. These young guys are just machines. They a lot of them play golf swing, and they don't play golf. That's why many of them aren't winning as much as they could be.
Right.
Textbook, you can't beat them. They're using everything that they can, and with the maximum advantage of the equipment. But a lot of them don't have that feel that you mentioned earlier that older players have.
Get out there and win.
Okay.
Now these are just my opinions. So
Yeah. We always say, yeah. No, because just like junior golf, swing talk is crazy too. Everyone gets emotional, and everyone thinks their way is the way. But I always say, what's for some ain't for you, and what's for you ain't for some.
This is what I share with all my students, especially people that are coming to me for the first time. I cannot turn you into Tiger Woods or Dustin Johnson, whoever the hottest player that week is. All I can do with you is to show you how you can play better golf.
Right.
And if that's to shave one or two shots off of your score, straighten out one missed shot, if you're topping this, give you a better understanding of course management, then I did my job. If you look at a tour player, if they shave one shot off their course average, that'll boost them up to the top 10 on tour. But weekend players, they come to me and they want to shave 15 shots off their score. And we can get five of them maybe right away. And and I get text all the time. Man, I played my best I ever played this week. I listened to what you said. You know, I laid up on some par fives instead of trying to go for every one of them. You know, I had three less putts than I had last
Course
week.
management.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I shoot for.
I'm the worst.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it works every time. It works. I haven't. It works. Let's share a video, and then we'll dive into that. We'll break up the thing. We're gonna share this video, and this is a view, Scott, and we'll play it and see. We'll talk after. All right. I find it was no sound. Did you guys hear? Hold on. Give us 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3. So no sound. Great
Wow.
video, but no sound. Oh, I didn't know. I could hear it well. I'm thinking everyone could hear it. What a great video, but I don't know what that was about. But we'll work out the technical difficulties later. Anyway, but you were really just preaching on extension and weight transfer towards the target.
Right.
And that was the basis of
Yeah,
your video.
yeah, the three things were the falling away from the shot. You see a lot of people, they try to hit the ball up in the air. Secondly, was was the falling away, the arms collapsing, and so the extension. It's just a drill for the extension. Learn how to extend through the swing, and
Okay.
that it's a simple basic tool, but I think a lot of people that have a problem of falling away from the ball will be able to improve their ball striking with that.
Nice, nice, nice. And hopefully when we go back in, when we're coming back into our swing series, hopefully we can get you in the studio where you're just sitting and we're talking like this, but then we can really get see some grips and some, because I know a lot of people, they may not want a tip or two or think they don't need a tip or two, but I found a lot of gems just watching YouTube stuff. Just a lot of, just trying to find something in the game or talking to my swing guy out here by me. But I found a lot of tips just on YouTube. I think. And what do you think about that now? Because like it was no YouTube when we all started playing. We just had to go to the driving range or find somebody or look at somebody play or ask somebody to play. Now it's a wealth of information, maybe too much information and confuse everybody with bad golf philosophies, but at least it's there.
Yeah. Right. So it's like chew the meat and spit out the bones. You can't have 17 different instructors because you'll become a Frankenstein. And you can't have a player or flavor of the week because then you'll be changing your swing every time somebody else wins a tournament. So if you have an instructor, one that understands your vision and your goals and is able to sit down and set a plan for you, then stick with him. With my students, I often say, where are we going? What are we going to do to work on it? This is what we're going to do this week, or this is what we're going to do tomorrow. And then I'll follow up with a text. How did you do? And it's a joy for me when they beat me to the text by telling me I played good. I did what I told you. So I don't have any problem with YouTube videos. I watch some of them myself, but like I said, I chew the meat and spit out the bone because you can get 1,000 different versions of hitting the ball straight.
Definitely.
Yeah. The thing is I agree. I have a couple of people that know my swing that have known it for 10 to 15 years. And so they can watch me and then immediately pick up on whether it's ball position, something as small as ball position, man. I'm telling you, it can throw everything off. Something as small as not being on the railroad tracks in proximity of your golf ball and where your stand can definitely it destroy your entire swing. And so the thing is that I know a lot of people who see my swing for the first time. They always say, well, you need to turn your hips. You need to get hip turn. Well, a life of football over the years, man, I can't turn like I used to. And so, but I know I have great shoulder turn. And so like Mo Norman didn't turn the hips. He just made sure he had great shoulder turn to get behind the ball. And he could make great contact. So to Scott's point, usually people are looking for the quick fix, the flavor of the week, and they'll go to the driving range and somebody says, you're doing this, and now they start to do that. And next thing you know, next week they don't understand how they hit their 5-iron, they 7-iron less than they hit their pitching wedge, and then now all of a sudden you got all these demons going on, and then you're stuck. I think Trish spoke to it a couple of weeks ago about clubbing. But a lot of times, man, that's why I say, man, you have to find a trained professional versus, or someone that knows your swing, that's watched your swing over the years and knows some of the things that you kind of get out of sort with. But if you just go to the driving range and Johnny Bull is down there on the end and he comes up and he said, let me show you something. Now it's a train wreck.
Yeah. I definitely believe that too, because you got to have somebody, at least you got to have somebody that you've been going to get a basis of what you're doing. Because I think the best way to play consistently is knowing how to fix it yourself after instruction.
Absolutely.
If you can't correct yourself and know what you're doing, then you'll never be able to play consistent because you're just not going to have your golf coach there all the time. But knowing how to fix your swing the first step is getting a trusted golf or swing coach in your life, because you'll never know how to fix your swing. You'll just be hearing tidbits from everybody, but you don't even know where you are in your swing, what you're working on, what's the next phase. If you're there, you just need to go back to A, B, C, and D, and you got to be able to fix yourself. But after your instruction, you should be, it's like a doctor. You should be under the care of a golf physician at all times. I don't go see my doctor all the time, but I'm under the care of he or she's physician. Same with a swing coach. I learned it late in life, but I need to be under the care of a swing physician at all times.
Man.
At all times. Period.
It's like something as simple as the other day. I was out on the driving range. Then I was struggling a little bit, and my buddy Josh, I called him. I said, Josh, I need you to come down here and watch. He came down, he watched me for 60 seconds. He knew immediately. He said, put the ball down. He said, dress the ball. He said, put the ball in the back of your stand. I put the ball in the back of my stand. I said, man, that ball's too far back in the stand. He said, now take your stance. I took my stance. The ball ended up being in the center of my torso, where it should be. And so me naturally looking down at the ball, and I think, Manny, we talked about it on the last show about using your alignment sticks, but I was trying to look with my natural eye down at the ground to see where the ball was in proximity to my back foot, and it looked like it was right, but it wasn't. So I had to make sure I did my pre-trip inspection every time I addressed the ball, so that I knew where that ball should be. And it made a huge difference.
It's small incremental things that can make big differences. I just gave a lesson and the person kept topping the ball. I kept saying, good shot, nice shot. And he said, what are you talking about, nice shot? I said, tell me exactly where you're looking. I said, take your finger and point on that ball where you're looking. He put his finger right down on the top of on the golf ball. I said, you hit that 100% of the time. I said, that's a nice shot. So I adjusted where he was looking from the top of the ball to right down on the ground, right behind the ball. He could miss a shot. Right. You know, so it's little things.
That's hilarious.
It's little things like that can improve your game tremendously, but you got to have somebody that knows what they're looking for and looking at, and teach you how to make them corrections.
Right. Definitely. Let's give that up. Okay, Trish, you got a question?
I do. So this is a question that's always asked. They have that little, term or little, quote. They say, what is it? Drive for show, putt for dough. Do you feel like distance?
That's a good question.
If you have good distance off the tee, it makes a difference? Or do you feel like the short game makes everything? Or what's your thoughts or your philosophy on it?
Well, I've always been blessed with being able to hit the ball a little further than other people. So going into greens with a wedge or a 9-iron or an 8-iron and they're hitting a 4 or a 5 is definitely an advantage. My putter, my putter I used to call the Widowmaker because I used to be killing guys with it. And over the years, it has changed, and now I'm a streaky putter. I had a couple of car accidents, and sometimes I get a little nerve damage in my hands, and I just can't feel the putter. So one day I'll go out and make 6 birdies, and the next day I'm ready to quit, taking the putter apart and I got a whole crawl space full of putters. But I really believe that there is really, in my mind, there's really no drive for show, putt for dough, because they're both equally important. It's easier to get closer to the pin with a wedge in your hand than it is a 7-iron. But if you can't manage yourself on that green and you're three putting and sometimes 4 putting on some of these tough courses, or you missing a birdie from 4 feet, it all balances out. So they're equally important to me.
I'm gonna take that.
I like it.
What's that?
I'm gonna take the bomb. And the thing is, I feel like if I can make 18 pars, then I'm gonna beat all my ducks. So the thing is, when I don't teach, but when I instruct young people, I try to teach them to hit it far, because I just think as a young person, they can be hypnotized into. It's almost like the track person having fast twitch and slow twitch muscles. You can condition yourself to be a pecker versus being a bomber. And I go with the philosophy, and I know they're equally, more important. But I much rather come in with a par 5 and a 7-iron than a 3-iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I believe in both, because most of the time you can get to any green in 2 shots and waste 5 from 40 yards out. Easily. 2 bad chips and 3 putts. That's 5 strokes on the par 5. You was there in 2.
Yeah.
So, but both, like we said before, Sif, you ain't even started golfing yet if you ain't off the tee. You starting in reverse. You ain't even started playing golf.
Right, busting them in the bushes and.
Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough too. I think we need to come up with a better philosophy between the putt for dough and drive for show. I think, like you said, I just everything is important. Every single thing is important.
Yeah.
I think certain things are easier to work on than others, and I'm not a professional. I believe putting and short game, if you practice enough, is easier than driving a ball. I think I've always had trouble driving the ball.
Trevino said there's 2 things that don't last: dogs chasing cars and golfers putting for pars.
That's right.
So if you can get that ball down the fairway, you can hit it 320, but you're in the woods, and you're going to have to waste a shot getting back. So I don't have any problem with trying to hit it as long as I can, but I want to at least be in play. When I hit.
Definitely.
But see, Tiger did all this to us, though, man. You think about it.
Yeah, you're right.
When Tiger came on the scene, man, and he, the way he, resurrected Augusta, and they, Tiger proofed it, and he's hitting 315. I mean, now all of a sudden, everybody was trying to hit it long. It became, in Tiger's case, it's still strategic, but in the perception, it came less strategic and versus overpowering. So Tiger did this to us.
Well, I think they bastardized his game. They just take the fun, easy part and was like, he bombs it far. But his game was way different than just bombing it far. You know what I mean? Okay. But I think they cherry pick certain things, like, they redid Augusta just because of him. Yeah, they redid Augusta just because of him, but he still owns Augusta because he played with his mind. He just had natural talents that could drive and get the ball far, but that wasn't his game. I think sometimes some people try to minimize his accomplishment. Well, he did great because he could just hit it far. No, that's not true.
They did the same thing to Michael Jordan. Think about it.
Yeah.
Michael's more athletic, but Larry Bird was more cerebral. When you ask anyone who played with Mike was his IQ for the game.
Exactly.
But he was more athletic, but Larry Bird was more cerebral. So it's the same thing they did with Tiger.
Exactly. And I think that I guess it sells clubs and sells drivers since the pawn of Tiger. Everybody's reaching for it's the craziest thing. And if you go on some of the YouTube stuff, you could take a 1980s 5 driver and a driver now, and it's a 5 or 10 yard difference, maybe, if you're lucky. 5 or 10 yards difference. I seen somebody was playing with an old Cobra Steelhead, and he was right there with the brand new Sim 2 Art of Stealth. Once they went to what is it, 466 cc's? What is it, 460?
460, yeah.
466 cc. Anything? That's it. Can you get any bigger? Can you get any farther?
Yeah. No, the clubs aren't going to get too much better. And I think I did a little piece on that a little while ago, where I took the Callaway Apex irons and I took the TaylorMade burner. And the specs were exactly the same between the 2 clubs.
Oh, wow.
The only difference was paint. And the one you could buy for $399 or $499. The others were $1,200. And I challenge some people: you want to buy some new clubs? Don't think you got to go out and spend $4 grand or $5 grand or $6 grand. There are a lot of good. The clubs are designed by computers now. The benefits of all the latest mathematics and computer-aided technology. So they are, and they have limitations by the USGA of how good they can be. So
Yeah.
one is not going to be but so much better than the other. We all have our preferences. One might want blue, one might want black, but it's the same exact stuff. Uh,
Mm.
and they can
Made
only
in
go.
the,
Yeah,
yeah, made in the same factory, deep in the
yeah,
bowels of
basically.
China. Anyway, so exactly. All right. Well, that's a good first start, you guys. Parting words, Sif and Trish.
Hey Scott, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, you have no idea what you mean to me. You mean the world to me, just based on not even golf, but some of your inspirational information that you bless all of us with, man. And I don't want you to that doesn't go unnoticed. But I think in these latter years, I may become a caddy, and what I mean by that is, I'm working with someone, and you want the person that you're working with to play extremely well. I've sent you your videos and things of that nature. So one day I said, you know what? I'm not gonna play. I'm just go out here and caddy for you. Now we're talking about the golf management piece, and I said I'm just caddy. I said because I think a lot of times you end up in some places due to club selection, things of that nature. You try to fly it over something and there's nothing there, and so we went out one day, and we did some bumping and running instead of flying it over this, that, and the third. And she shot a personal best 42 for a 9, which was extremely.
Yeah.
And she left probably 3 shots out there. And so that made me feel well. But it was also some advice that you had given her. So if we want people to enjoy this game, we have to make sure that they enjoy this game, and we may have to make some sacrifices as well so that they enjoy this game. So I attribute a lot of that to you, my friend.
Well, thank you
Nice,
very much.
nice, nice, nice.
I think I might have shared this with you, but when I first kind of turned pro, your uncle Charlie came to Philly and we did a radio interview. They called me the little black pro, and he was the black pro. And one of the first things that he did was he took me to some family in North Philadelphia before he did anything else. And he said to them, he said, if he ever needs anything, you take care of him the way you took care of me.
Right.
And that was very, very important, and it made me feel like family. And that's why I gravitate to you so much. That I feel like we're family,
We are.
and you stuck with me now. But your uncle really made me feel welcome as a young golf pro, and I'll never forget that.
That's a pay it forward. Beautiful,
Nice.
beautiful. Trish.
Yeah. So Scott, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate all that you do. Like I say, I Facebook stalk you and I watch all the things and see the posts that you have out there. So we thank you for all of that. Your video, we're gonna make sure that we put it in the show notes, obviously, because I mean the video. I mean, I was enjoying watching the video, but obviously we want to hear the sound to it or whichever. So we'll make sure that happens. But we'll definitely have you back on the show. Thank you for everything, and just keep up the great work. And I also like what you said. It's the fundamentals. You got to take it back to the foundation. And as you're doing as the golf evangelist, you got to take it back to the foundation. You got to take it back to the rock. So I like that.
Yeah. Well,
All
thank you
right.
very much.
You are welcome, mother. And definitely have you back when your time allows. That's the end. That's the end of the show. We try to keep it about an hour, 5 minutes. That was the first of a series we're going to do, just diving into the swing, and we'll get better at it and we'll get a little more in detail. I think we should keep it as simple as possible so everyone can digest it. I think those that's totally deep into it probably don't need our help. We need the basics. We want new people. Well, we want new golfers and old golfers that just never got instruction to play better golf by any means necessary. And that usually starts with the fundamentals always. So yeah, I think that's it.
Scott,
All
new
right,
movie.
people.
New movie. Samuel Jackson. I think it's called, what is it? Ptolemy. Y'all seen that?
I haven't
Ptolemy.
Ptolemy. Have you
I
seen
haven't
it?
seen it. I
Man,
seen the
worked for me
previews.
like a rented mule. I ain't had no time to watch no TV.
Man, that's
right.
A must
That's
watch.
right.
A must watch.
That's right. That's right. Every Wednesday live, y'all. Every Wednesday live. If you miss us live, just go on the podcast. Hey, you can even go to your Alexa and say the Golf Locker Room Podcast, and guess what's going to be playing on your Alexa? Us. So let's make it happen. Deuces.